right now on 5 on your side at 10.
More storms in the forecast. Both Friday and Sunday are storm alert days. We're tracking the impact storms could have on your Memorial Day weekend plans.
A rash of teen violence even before summer vacation begins. Tonight, the effort to keep them safe. Children swimming at their own risk.
I'm afraid for the parents who can lose their children.
Tonight, a call for action.
I believe the standard needs to be raised.
The I-Team brings to the surface critical flaws in lifeguard training and safety standards. We start tonight with breaking news. Severe weather in America's heartland. This video just into our newsroom showing a massive tornado touching down in Lawton, Oklahoma. That's about 90 minutes southwest of Oklahoma City. This is one of several reports of tornadoes in that state. There are reports of damage, but we're waiting to hear about injuries. And severe weather is headed our way, putting us in storm alert for tomorrow. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. We could be impacted tomorrow afternoon by damaging winds, large hail, even tornadoes are not out of the question. Let's get straight over to Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, who's tracking the timing of those storms.
You know, the storms that are in Oklahoma tonight, they will stay to our southwest, but it's part of the same system essentially that's headed our way as we work into Friday. We will sleep comfortably tonight. Tomorrow morning is okay, but those scattered strong storms, the chances increase starting after lunchtime in through about 9 o'clock. That's a change from earlier. We're extending that chance a little later into tomorrow night. And yes, gusty winds, large hail, certainly possible with that. Ours is going to be more associated with what you see up in Nebraska and on the Nebraska-Kansas line tonight. That line of thunderstorms essentially is going to evolve and head our way as we work into tomorrow. We're still in the 70s around St. Louis, and tomorrow mid-80s for highs. We are squarely in the risk for severe weather around St. Louis as we are level 2 out of 5 on that severe weather risk from the Storm Prediction Center. Morning hours tomorrow, fine. But once you get past lunchtime into the afternoon, that's when we'll be tracking at least scattered thunderstorms across the area, a few of which could be strong to severe. And then as we head into the evening, perhaps that line develops out to the west right along the cold front and presses in. That could cause us some more problems. It's not the only severe threat we're dealing with. Sunday is another storm alert day. More on that in a few minutes, Mike.
And when we go into storm alert tomorrow, the Weather First team will constantly update the forecast on air on KSDK.com, the 5 on your side app, and streaming on 5+. Or you can text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send the latest forecast to your phone. New tonight, we're getting our first look at the 2 teens charged in last night's deadly triple shooting near the St. Charles Convention Center. Keonta Harden on the left and Gabriel Patterson on the right, both 18, are charged with second-degree murder. Investigators say the gunfire stemmed from a gun trade between the two groups. 19-year-old Terrell Pete of St. Louis died from his injuries. 2 other people were shot. They are expected to survive.
Gun violence affects everyone. It affects the family, it affects the community. So anybody that is involved in the illegal transaction of guns or anything involving guns should think twice, especially in St. Charles.
Both Harden and Patterson are being held on a $500,000 bond. Police say they're not looking for anyone else connected to this crime. Teen violence is a problem persisting in the St. Louis area as we head into the Memorial Day weekend and the unofficial start of summer. In the past week, several young people in the city and county have been shot, even killed. Now, Robert Townsend has been tracking a troubling trend and his new reaction from community leaders. Robert?
Mike, today I talked to a St. Louis pastor and one of the city's top leaders on crime. Both are extremely concerned about the pre-summer violence that's taking young lives. Just after midnight Thursday, St. Louis police say a man shot a 15-year-old boy during an argument with the teen's parents. It happened in the 1100 block of Riverview on the city's north side. Last Saturday, police say 15-year-old Gerardo Perez was shot during what's called a car slide show in North St. Louis County. The Collinsville High School student later died. And police are still trying to figure out who fired the shots that killed a 15-year-old girl Tuesday night at an apartment building on the city's south side.
I think it's very disheartening.
The Reverend Dr. Antonio Settles is the pastor of Union Memorial United Methodist Church in North City.
Pastors, professors, community activists. We're all trying to put our thumb on it, put our finger on it, and it seems like we're going nowhere.
This summer, his church is partnering with Harris Stowe State University and turning this former elementary school across the street into a safe place where teens can go to seek counseling, jobs, recreational activities, and more.
Ways that we can make these people feel good about themselves.
So far this year, 28 teens have been shot in St. Louis City, 2 killed. In St. Louis County, at least 16 teens shot, and of those, 10 killed. And with more teenagers out of school this summer, community leaders say more collaborative efforts are needed to curb the youth violence. Wilford Pinckney is the director of the city's Office of Violence Prevention.
So we're going to continue to work with partners like we did last year to activate spaces in the city, to provide youth events and safe space events for youth of all ages. There's no one solution.
Now, as of tonight, police have not made any arrests in those 3 teen shootings I mentioned. Anyone with any information should call St. Louis police.
Robert, thanks. Investigators now say a deadly overnight shooting in South St. Louis stemmed from an extramarital affair. Tonight, Eric Clark is behind bars, charged with first-degree murder and burglary. The shooting happened this morning at a home on Gothey near Gravois. Police say Clark broke into the victim's home, found him in bed with his wife, and shot him 2 times. Clark is being held without bond. Just hours ago, a St. Louis jury found a man guilty of sexually assaulting 2 young boys in a South City neighborhood. Asmani Haji Gul was convicted of 2 felonies. He was charged in connection to 2 separate incidents last summer in the St. Louis Hills neighborhood. Tonight, there's a new push in Washington to extend the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. However, it would leave local victims of contamination out in the cold.
Well, there's nothing clean about this bill. No, it leaves Missouri filthy, dirty with nuclear radiation.
Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri blasted what's being billed as a clean extension of RECA. It does not include an expansion of coverage, which would encompass people sickened by nuclear waste in Coldwater Creek, Westlake Landfill, and Weldon Spring. Hawley's bill to include Missourians is still waiting for a floor vote in the U.S. House. RECA expires next month. As Memorial Day weekend approaches, many families are looking forward to enjoying time at pools, lakes, and beaches. The drownings of 2 young children at summer camp serve as a stark reminder of the critical importance of water safety. Tonight, the I-Team's Paula Bassan unveils alarming gaps in summer camp regulations and lifeguard training standards that could be putting our children at risk.
We don't want the parents.
On July 20th, 2022,
Hi, buddy.
Olga Mister's world was shattered
I miss
when her 6-year-old son TJ drowned at a St. Louis County-run summer camp,
you. It was so preventable.
exposing significant flaws in summer camp safety regulations.
So there was not enough lifeguards to be watching 50 kids. We found out that the CPR wasn't performed correctly.
Her son's memories, from his love of karate to his artwork, are now cherished in this room.
I thought he was going to come home that day.
Every year, 4,500 people die from drowning in the United States. A substantial number of these deaths are among children, with drowning being the #1 cause of death for kids 1 to 4 years old. And a new federal report from the CDC shows these deaths are rising. Behind the stats are victims like Doug Forbes' young daughter. Roxy drowned 5 years ago at a summer camp in Los Angeles. He founded the Meow Meow Foundation, named after Roxy's favorite stuffed animal. He's now dedicated to preventing childhood drowning and providing comfort to families suffering.
Why are we putting 15 and 16 and 17-year-olds in these jobs? You know why? Because we can pay them a low wage and because they're available help.
He believes the national shortage of lifeguards is compounded by inadequate training programs. He points out alarming issues with certification processes at some of the industry's leading organizations.
The American Red Cross actually has no protections, no quality assurance protections against fraudulent lifeguard and water safety certification. In my daughter's case, the lifeguard instructor fraudulently certified himself and he thereafter fraudulently certified upwards of 100 camp counselors as American Red Cross lifeguards.
Court records show the instructor shortened lessons and skipped American Red Cross mandated tests. The organization later banned him as an instructor.
I believe the standard needs to be raised.
Forbes tells the I-Team another leading training group, the American Lifeguard Association, charges hundreds of dollars for online-only swim assessments and certificates. The company says it provides a blended learning model. It requires employers to do in-person training.
That's shocking.
But critics say the association is passing off responsibility for a life-saving job, making money in the process. The organization did not agree to an on-camera interview or phone call. What's needed, he believes, is better oversight.
It's about making sure that after you acquire that certification, that you are constantly training and retraining.
These parents hope their stories will prompt a nationwide call to action.
I'm afraid for the parents who can lose their children.
The American Red Cross did not agree to an interview. A spokesperson tells us they offer the gold standard of lifeguard training. The industry-wide problem, water experts say, is lack of regular oversight, testing, and training once someone is on the job. For the I-Team, Paula Vassan, 5 on your side.
If you've been impacted by the lifeguard certification process, the I-Team wants to hear from you. You can leave a voice message at 314-444-5231 or just email Paula directly at pvasan@ksdk.com. Taking critical care to new heights.
And when it comes to those who are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant, time is of the essence.
Tonight, the local medical company putting a 21st century twist on the spirit of St. Louis. Ticket takedown. Tonight, the efforts to break up an entertainment empire and turn the volume down on the cost of concert tickets.
Thunderstorms Sunday are likely to have more of an impact on your Memorial Day weekend. We're tracking the potential of strong winds, heavy rain, even hail to the region in 7 minutes.
Tonight, a new lawsuit could change how concert tickets are sold and how much you pay for them. 30 states, including Illinois, have joined the U.S. Department of Justice to sue Ticketmaster parent Live Nation over alleged antitrust violations. This follows a DOJ investigation launched in 2022. It gained more steam last year after fans complained over issues securing tickets to Taylor Swift's Eras tour.
We are not here today because Live Nation Ticketmaster's conduct is inconvenient or frustrating. We are here because, as we allege, that conduct is anti-competitive and illegal.
The lawsuit accuses the company of controlling the live events industry at the cost of fans, artists, and other promoters and venues. Live Nation calls the allegations absurd. Monday is Memorial Day. And today at Arlington National Cemetery, soldiers from the Old Guard placed American flags on more than 260,000 graves. Each flag is placed 1 boot length from the headstone. A similar tradition will take place this weekend at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery in South County. On Sunday, area Boy Scouts will place flags on the more than 200,000 graves. This will be the 75th anniversary of the tradition. Tonight, a new effort to save lives with the assistance of drones. An organ transplant company is working with the FAA to soon begin transporting blood to St. Louis in the hopes it could one day lead to drones transporting life-saving organs. New tonight, Brent Solomon explains how it would all work.
Flying high, we see them fulfilling a variety of purposes from the sky. A local organ transport company now eyeing drones in its quest to save lives.
And when it comes to those who are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant, time is of the essence.
Mid-America Transplant in St. Louis collects blood samples for potential organ donors in Springfield, Missouri, twice a week.
And we currently deploy a fixed-wing turboprop aircraft from Spirit Airport in Chesterfield to fly down, collect the blood, and bring it back to us here in St. Louis. That's a pretty resource-intense process to use an airplane to collect a 2-pound package.
President Kevin Lee believes drones can be a game changer.
So we want to move quickly and efficiently, but also safely.
There could also be a cost savings here. Right now, it costs about $10,000 for that company to fly blood samples back and forth. Using drones would cost them about $1,000 to $2,000. If the company can successfully transport blood samples from Springfield, then they have high hopes about other options.
Could we also bring blood samples into population centers like Kansas City or Springfield or St. Louis for those who live in the rural parts of our state? If there are certain areas within the state where it's hard to receive medications, could we use these drones to deliver those medications to individuals living in remote areas of Missouri?
And eventually, possibly even transporting life-saving organs themselves via drone.
Because these are beyond line of sight drones.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
One electric battery will allow the drone to fly 100 miles. They would only be flown over rail lines and rivers. The company hopes to launch test flights next year, and right now, some 1,400 people in our region are awaiting organ donation. About an hour ago, drones provided quite a show over at Grant's Farm. Tonight, the Bush family property gave a sneak peek of its drone show spectacular. It's part of the farm's Summer Nights event, which includes live music, food, and drink. Summer Nights will be held every Friday and Saturday, starting tomorrow and through Labor Day weekend. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with that all-important holiday weather first forecast, and definitely some concerns, Scott.
There are. We have some opportunities for thunderstorms, opportunities we don't want to have because those thunderstorms potentially strong to severe for some of us. Tonight, that activity is down across Oklahoma and kind of spreading along the Red River. That produced a tornado that you saw earlier out there around Lawton, Oklahoma. Very active for the folks there. And then to the north, this is more of the line that we're looking at, more of what we think will be headed our way. Something that looks similar to this later tomorrow into tomorrow evening. So it's a storm alert for tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. A cold front coming in from the west will slice our way. The timing on that increases our chance for showers and thunderstorms around lunchtime into the early afternoon. They don't necessarily look to be all that intense, but what comes towards 5, 6, 7 o'clock now may be a little bit more intense. So keep those phones charged, keep your notifications on, and you know, it's a holiday weekend. Are you outside this weekend going camping? Maybe you're headed out on the lake. Know your shelter options and your safe place so that if we do have these thunderstorms at times, because tomorrow's not the only opportunity, Sunday's another big day, you'll know what to do and where to go and get notified. Right now, we're tracking into tomorrow. At 11 a.m., you see coming out of mid-Missouri these scattered showers and thunderstorms. They don't look overly impressive for us, but then as we head towards 3 to 5 o'clock, more scattered showers and thunderstorms are developing closer to the cold front. These ought to have a little more oomph with them as they push into the St. Louis area and give us a chance for at least gusty winds, some hail. We'll see they might spin up an isolated tornado, but it looks like it's more of a wind threat overall. Now, we get into Saturday, and it's generally quiet. It's the pick day of the weekend. Absolutely gorgeous. Temperatures in the lower 80s on Saturday. Storms, though, are likely on Sunday, and that is our next storm alert day. Already focused on this area of southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, including the metro area, for a severe weather threat. We time that out with storms coming out of mid-Missouri early on Sunday. Some of them will fall apart. Others may linger until 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. That would be mainly a hail threat, perhaps a bit of wind. It puts down a boundary. And then our timing only goes out to 7 o'clock on that high resolution graphic. That means we're starting at that point to see redevelopment. And that's what's going to happen. We don't know exactly what the morning action will do for the afternoon or evening threats. So stay tuned. Sunday could be active. 76 right now. Tomorrow, we'll make it back into the mid-80s. It is a storm alert day, especially during the afternoon and into the evening hours. We have a quiet day Saturday. We have more storms on Sunday. In the morning, probably hail, maybe some wind. But Sunday evening could be some very intense thunderstorms with everything on the table, including the potential of a few tornadoes, especially for southeast Missouri, southern Illinois. We'll keep updating it as we get more information.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is off tonight. Corey is next with sports.
Well, the Cardinals are hot, and so is the City SC transfer rumor mill. I also have the story of a state championship track team without a track of their own. Stick around, sports is on deck after the break.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Yes, the main thing to focus on for City SC is their game Saturday night against Seattle. City needs a win to break their 2-game loss streak. However, diving into the transfer market rumor mill is just as fun, and it really seems like there's a new name connected to City every couple of hours. Like a tornado, the transfer rumor winds continue to swirl. A new name was added today with a report that City is interested in 19-year-old Australian midfielder, you see him in the blue there, Jake Girdwood-Reich. We talked about Cedric Tukert, that rumor yesterday, with him even possibly visiting St. Louis. And of course, there was the initial Marco Royce to City rumor that got the internet buzzing. Captain Roman Berkey is still working on getting his friend Royce here, but he'll leave the transfer decisions to the front office.
No, I tried my best with Royce. I'm still trying my best with Royce, but other than that, completely trust in the whole club and the people, the coach, Lutz, and whoever is responsible for that.
After 3 days like the Cardinals just had, I know a day off is needed, but it feels like a bit of a bummer. I'm in the mood to watch more Cardinals baseball. That may not have been the sentiment for much of the fan base for the first month and a half of the season, but it looks like the train may be back on the track. The Cards have won 8 of their last 10 and will finally play another division series this weekend. Rookie sensation Shota Imanaga and the Cubs come to town tomorrow, currently sitting at just 3 games ahead of St. Louis in second place. The Cardinals are no doubt enjoying their day of rest, but they also know how important it is to keep this train rolling.
Yeah, anytime you're playing the Cubs, you're excited for those games, but obviously we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. So going into that, having an off day, which is going to be huge, for the bullpen. They've sacked up for us, tremendously this series, especially with the delays and everything like that. So give them a little rest, and then we can come in with fresh bodies, fresh minds on Friday and get ready to go.
The celebration is over, and so is the recovery for the Mizzou softball team. The Tigers will host Duke starting tomorrow in the NCAA Super Regionals. They lost their opening game last weekend and then proceeded to win 4 straight games to advance. Coming off the mat like they did should give the Tigers a lift going forward.
People after the fact told me that, we had like a 3.5% chance of winning that regional, that it's never been done. Only 11 teams have won after they lost on Friday, and that just shows you the resiliency and the determination that this team has. And I'm just so unbelievably proud. Probably one of the best performances I've ever been a part of as a coach.
It's a good time to be a Father McGivney Griffin. This past weekend, the girls' track team sped their way to the Illinois 1A state title. It's the first ever title for the school in any sport. But here's the most amazing part of the story. The school doesn't even have a track. From hallways to public parks, they practiced wherever they could this year and are currently raising money to build their own track. But despite that big challenge, this team became champions.
To have our girls step up and be the first is really special. Numbers are increasing. We're at 17 right now. And so this seems small, but for a small school, we still feel like we can compete pretty well.
I think just the selflessness and knowing that, we're running for each other is what drives us.
It obviously showed like we can still do great things even if we don't have a track.
Hey, let's end with a fun one. How's this for etiquette? They have a cart in Washington to get pitchers from the bullpen to the mound. Twins lefty Steven Okert takes advantage. When he gets to his stop, naturally, he's going to give the driver a tip. Watch him. There he goes. Another example of a good deed getting rewarded. Okert got the win as the Twins beat the Nationals. Wonder if he gave the driver 5 stars.
I used to see those all the time in Major League Baseball. I haven't seen those in years.
You can put me down. I'm fully on board for Busch Stadium getting a bullpen cart back.
We'll be right back.
Memorial Day weekend will be jam-packed on the roads, and that means long drive times. We'll show you the best routes to take if you're planning a quick family road trip, plus the busiest times of the day you'll want to avoid. Friday morning on Today in St. Louis at 6 a.m.
The annual Folds of Honor campaign, sponsored by Schnucks, is now underway. You have until Tuesday, May 28th, to round up at the register. And money raised goes towards scholarships for spouses and children of fallen and wounded service members and first responders. 5 on Your Side is a proud partner. All right, tomorrow is a storm alert day, so before we go, Scott has one final check of the forecast, and it's very important you're weather aware this weekend.
Yeah, especially for tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. That threat exists, and again on Sunday, another storm alert day. Tomorrow, it's really from 1 and more likely in St. Louis from about 3 or 4 until 9 p.m. with the threat being gusty winds and some quarter-size hail. Sunday, the threat is back. There's a threat in the morning for thunderstorms that could be severe, and then during the late afternoon and early evening. Exact timing on Sunday's threats and the impacts they have certainly to be determined because we're still waiting on some of that information to come in. You know, we got to get closer to it.
All right. There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That begins at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow and be safe.